This is Chapter 12, Congressional Procedure, Discussion Number 2, Congressional Leaders. So the Speaker of the House was selected the first day that the House got together at the beginning of its term. What exactly does the Speaker do? First of all, they are the leadership of the majority party in the House, obviously because they were elected by most of the members of the House, at least a majority of one. The Speaker of the House comes from the House membership. In other words, it's not just someone they picked up off the street or someone who was not even elected to the House. It comes from amongst the members. Now, no member may speak without the Speaker's permission as far as the official debates of what's going on. If someone asks for a point of order, it's up to the Speaker of the House to apply the rules and to interpret them. Ultimately, the Speaker of the House will put questions to a vote. They assign all the committee members. Of course, that was on the previous suggestion of the two parties. That was done in their caucus meetings before the first day. The Speaker of the House actually signs legislation. It's not just the President who signs it. The Speaker of the House and the Vice President sign legislation. The Speaker of the House is also required to break ties so that a decision is made. Now, they can vote something into a tie, and that does not win it. And they don't get to vote again to then break that tie. But if it's already a tie and then it's their vote, they are required to vote yes or no, instead of just voting present or no thank you. The Speaker of the House also is the next person to the presidency after the Vice President, and the Speaker of the House is allowed to participate in the House debate. Now, one of the things I want you to see as you look at this slide in the notes, that there are specific items that have asterisks next to them. Make sure you have those asterisks there because they are going to be significant when we talk about the Senate and what the Vice President does. All right? So, moving on. Speaking of the Vice President of the United States, as elected as a team member with the President, is the President of the Senate, and he is referred to as Mr. President, even though he's not the President of the United States. It's because he's the President of the Senate. The Vice President is not allowed to debate. In fact, the only things that the Vice President is allowed to do as a ruler or as the chair of the Senate is those asterisk items that we saw in that previous note. They are only allowed to vote if there's a tie. They don't get to vote on all the legislation, only if there's a tie. Then we also have the Senate pro tempore, someone else, a senior member of the majority party elected by the senators, and this is actually the fourth person in line for presidency. President, Vice President, Speaker of the House, Senate pro tempore, and then it goes to the cabinet members, so that's why that particular position is significant. Now, the Speaker of the House, Vice President, and President are all mentioned in the Constitution and have constitutional roles. However, in the process that Congress has developed and how it goes about its business, they have also developed ways for them to work within the structure of the Constitution, and most specifically, how they work as political parties. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the party leadership in the House and the Senate. First of all, they are not official constitutional positions. There's no such thing in the Constitution that says that the Senate majority leaders shall. That does not exist. Now, party leaders are elected by the party caucuses. These are the private meetings of the political parties. The Republicans have a caucus, the Democrats have a caucus. And these people have been selected by the political party members that this is who's going to help them organize them in their processes for what they're going to do. The majority leader does have more political power because anytime someone wants to challenge him, he can essentially, or she can essentially say, oh yeah, let's put it to a vote. And as soon as it goes to a vote, all the majority stands behind the majority leader, the minority stands behind the minority leader, and they say, I got more people, I win. So that's how the majority leader has the opportunity to really force things through. Now, the majority leader, the minority leader, and the Speaker of the House work together to decide the order of business. But then again, remember, the majority leader and the Speaker are two different people, so it's always going to be two versus one. And so there is a lot of control by the majority party in what happens in the House of Representatives. Now, there is also a floor leader assistant. The majority leader, minority leader, the next position down in the political party leadership is that of a whip. Now, it sounds kind of macabre, the whole idea of having a whip, but these are essentially the political party herders. They go around trying to make sure that the members of their political party are doing the same things to encourage the same political issues in the same way that the political party wants them to go. If there are members of the political party who maybe disagree on that facet, it is the whip's job in order to make sure or try to encourage them to go the way of the political party. Also, another very important thing that the whip does is that they are very good at counting. No political party leader wants to push a political issue and then find out it's not going to work because he doesn't have the votes. And so making sure they have the votes, and the whip essentially says, all right, we've got 200 members who are in favor of it. We need some more in order to get there. And it's the whip's job to know who does, who doesn't, and maybe who might be on the other side of the political aisle. For example, the Republican whip might know of a couple Democrat members who might agree with them on this particular issue. And so there might be some influencing going on there. A lot of this takes place in these special meetings called party caucuses. It's a closed meeting for the political party members for organizational purposes. So these are some of the congressional leadership positions that have developed over time in the Congress in order to, again, organize the members in order to get something done. This concludes discussion number 2, Congressional Leaders, from Chapter 12, Congressional Procedures.